It's a lot of fun to boil down maple syrup, tap the trees, and there's a lot of small little things that we've learned over the 5 years we've been boiling down this syrup. There's a lot of little tweaks that you need to know whenever you're boiling it down. So in this video, we're going to show you some of those, and hopefully you'll be able to boil down the syrup yourself. So now we're starting to get a bed of coals, so we can go ahead and take the pot and put it on top. So we probably have about 20 gallons of sap here. Sometimes you'll put this lid on the ringer washer, and you'll put it on right at the beginning when you want the heat to stay in, and then once it gets to a boil, you want to take it off so all the steam can escape. Now we put kind of an extended chimney on here, so you can see all the steam coming off here, but then all the smoke from the fire stays away from the syrup. Now, some people don't like the smoky taste, and this will help prevent the smoke from getting in there and getting mixed in, and it'll keep it from having a smoky taste. Personally, I don't mind the smoky taste. It kind of makes it taste real, but this is just a simple piece of metal that we kind of made into a cylinder to keep the steam and the smoke separate. As we're carrying over some of the firewood, we noticed some of this really cool, like, red-tipped moss. I've never seen this stuff on wood before, but it's crazy. This is really cool. This thing sure is working really good. You can't even see down in there. There's so much steam just coming up and over. So it's been boiling for about 5 hours now, and we can go ahead and take off this steam extension thing just to get an idea of how much we've boiled off. You can see all that steam just stays in there, and it looks like, kind of hard to tell, but I can kind of see the liquid maybe about halfway, a little lower than half. Once it gets really low, we're going to take the fire out because we don't want to burn it. So we boiled it down to about 2 inches, and then the sap was still flowing. We had another 50-degree day. We got a lot of sap, so we poured it in here, and you can see it's filled back up, so we can go ahead and boil the rest of it off. So this is the second boiling, and we actually only have 7 trees, but we're barely able to keep up with this. We have this entire thing here full of sap, and then we also have 3 other buckets in the waiting list. Ugh, smoke, but I'd say 7 trees is pretty good for a hobby. We covered the wood with a tarp because last time the wood was all wet and it was really hard to start the fire and keep it going. We had to keep it drying out. You can see we have some nice dry wood here, and it's burning really nicely. We're already starting to get a bed of coals down there, and we'll just keep feeding the fire and packing it in, and that'll really give us a nice hot fire. There's a big pine tree that blew across our neighbor's driveway, and now we have a lot of wood, and this isn't even all of it. We're gonna go back over later today and help them clear even more of it out. But this is some nice wood. It's dry, actually. Stuff breaks off really easily. It was kind of like already a dead tree, so we are not in too much need of wood. So having this dry wood is great, but we want to try to start drying out some of these bigger logs. So we'll put this kind of over the fire here just to let it start drying out. You can hear it boiling. It seems like it's kind of at a rumbling boil. So we can kind of see the steam coming out. It's a little hard to see and distinguish it between the smoke, but there is steam coming out. So we can go ahead and take off the lid, and you can see there's all that steam coming off there. So we'll go ahead and put this chimney on so the smoke won't get mixed. Now it's a lot easier to distinguish the steam from the smoke. So with all the sticks here, we can just keep kicking them in and keep them all burning. It's kind of hard to see, but if you blow on it, you can see it's about halfway, so we're gonna add some more sap. That'll add in another 5 gallons. So we let the fire burn out last night. We took some of the wood out so it's not burning overnight. And you can burn it as hot and as hard as you want whenever this thing is full. But if we take this off, you can see it's getting down there pretty low. And this is when you want to be pretty careful. You want to watch it and you don't want to burn it right now. So it's hard to see the level that we're at. So if I just take a stick, put it in, you can see we're about right there. So that's probably about 3 or 4 inches. When this gets down to about an inch or half an inch, you want to watch it like a hawk. And you can see just from that little bit, there's color in the syrup. So we know we're getting down pretty concentrated. Let's see if we have any of the smoky flavor out. Oh no, that's pretty sweet. I don't taste too much smoke, but it's kind of hard to tell now. But that tastes really good. So it's kind of hard to tell, but every once in a while you can see the liquid down there, and you can see it's frothing, and that means it might be getting a little bit too hot. We don't want to burn the sugar. So we're gonna take the heat down just a little bit, and you can see maybe, that there is froth. So we'll take some of the sticks out just to get the heat down so we don't burn anything. So now we'll just kind of pull the sticks out to get that temperature down a little bit. So let's go ahead and put this chimney on. It is kind of exciting how it actually seems like it's working. In all, we have about 50 gallons of sap, so we should get around 1 gallon of syrup. We have a few different trees and different maple trees. They're not all sugar maples, so it's kind of a mix. So I'm guessing we'll get around 1 gallon because it's about every 40 gallons of sap is 1 gallon of syrup. This is the most critical part of boiling down the sap. You can see we don't have too much in there. There is some thickness to it. It's kind of hard to tell, but it has some viscosity. So we just want to keep stirring this and just watch it like a hawk and make sure this doesn't boil too much. You just want a few bubbles. Keep it steamy, not a rumbling boil. If you blow on it, you can see the viscosity and the thickness that it has, which means we're getting really close. A lot of times maple syrup will be thinner than the normal like stuff you buy at the store. It'll be thinner, but you still want a little bit of viscosity, and this is looking like it's basically done, maybe just a little bit more, and then we'll take it inside and filter all that out. So this is very critical to keep moving it and sloshing it around the side, and I'm pretty excited. It doesn't taste at all like smoke whenever you have it. So this chimney that we made seems to be working. So this is what you want it to look like when it gets this close. Little bubbles along the side, just barely enough, just keep evaporating slowly but controlled. And if you stir it, slosh it up against the sides, you can see we'll get it to start steaming again and kind of speed the process up just a little bit to get some of the water out. And just keep it like this, going slow and taking your time. So we have all the heat off the fire now. We scooped all the coals out, and those are hot. If you look how it's boiling, you can see the bubbles just kind of come up like it's thick syrup. So this is basically how we want it. Yeah, this is nice. It's not burnt. There's no smoky flavor. This is just how you want it. So we'll pull it off the fire carefully.
Just set it on the ground.
Now we'll go ahead and pour it through a filter. You can see we got a good amount of the stuff that was in there out. We are gonna filter it with like a cheesecloth to get the fine stuff out, but this stuff just looks like gold. This is amazing. Since the stuff is like gold, there's a few more drops in here that we're gonna try to get out. It's just slowly coming out. Look at how thick this syrup is. That is really looking good. So we have a pot here, and we'll put a cloth on top of it, and we can go ahead and start to pour in the syrup. Just have someone hold the cloth and carefully pour it in. There's so many small particles in here, you have to keep moving the filter because it just gets clogged really fast. Or you can take the spoon and just kind of scrape the bottom of it lightly to try to unclog it, and you can actually hear it flowing through. It is going slow though. Usually we filter it when it's a little bit thinner and it goes through the filter faster, but right now it's pretty thick and we're having a hard time for it to go through. What you could do is not get it this thick, get it so it's still pretty close but thinner, filter it, then you can boil the rest out on the stove or on the grill. You just need to be careful because when you evaporate it, it could leave a sticky residue on the ceiling. Because it's thicker, it's more of a challenge. We have a reusable coffee filter here, and it goes through real fast, and this is filtering it pretty well. You can see even with this one, there's a bunch of stuff down in there. We need to wash that out and keep rotating it for it to run all the way through. Go ahead and wash out the filter so it'll flow through better. So just keep the syrup hot. We just heated it up on the stove so it'll flow through the filter much faster. So we're taking the foam off first before we take it through the filter because the foam seems to clog the filter. So if we take it off before, hopefully it'll go through the filter faster. Now we'll pour it through, hopefully for the last time. And without that foam, it's going through much faster. So this stuff is done and filtered, and we're gonna go ahead and pour it into this glass, and that is beautiful. Wow, that work paid off. Now we have a few jars full of maple syrup. It's 100% real. Now we're gonna take a rubber spatula and get every last drop out of the pan. So this is everything that we've made from the 50 gallons of sap. It's not quite a gallon. We were expecting a gallon, but we boiled it down a lot thicker. And I'm happy with how thick that is. It is really good. Like, this stuff is amazing. Best syrup you'll ever have. So I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.